This podcast is brought to you by Two Pits and Bricks Goalkeeper Training.
Hello. I am Coach O, and this is the National Scouting Service Podcast Show. I want you all to know that we do have a special guest coming on tonight, but before we get started, we got to give our shouts out to our sponsors and our supporters. And with that being said, we got to give our first shout out to Cold Tees T-shirts. Cold Tees sponsor all the T-shirts that I wear, college or high school T-shirts that I wear right here on National Scouting Service Podcast Show. You can follow Cold Tees on Facebook as well as on Instagram. So big shouts out to Cold Tees. I've been saying it, but now it's finally here in 2023. Be sure to be on the lookout for Coaches Against Drugs. That's with myself, as long with Coach Reggie Rusk. We'll be in schools near you probably this year or next year, or we'll be doing seminars and clinics, not only for coaches, but as well as for parents and players. And it's going to be Coaches Against Drugs. We have noticed that there's not a lot of outlets for coaches to turn to outside of counselors and things like that. But sometimes they need other coaches to talk to because they may be going through and experiencing the same things that they may be experiencing as well. You can follow me on Twitter at Coach O Brown, as well as National Scouting Service on Twitter at National Scouting. We're also on Instagram at National Scouting as well. And with that being said, we're going to get some of our sponsors out the way before we do start this show. And we got to give a big shout out to Meek and Zeke Studios. This is where we're currently and presently at, is Meek and Zeke Studios. You can follow Meek and Zeke Studios at Twitter at Meek and Zeke, as well as on Instagram, Meek and Zeke, and on all your other social media platforms, as well as on TikTok, Meek and Zeke. Big shouts to our supporters in Ink to the T. You can follow Ink to the T on Instagram. Big shouts out to Uncontested Hoops. That is Coach Herb Washington. If you're into skill training, ball handling drills, or the mental aspect of the game, you can follow Coach Herb Washington on Instagram. And we cannot forget the rest of our supporters in Running Back Giving Back. That is by former Kansas City Chiefs All-Pro Kimball Anders, as well as now currently NFL Hall of Famer of the Kansas City Chiefs. Peace of Mind Athletics. That is by Coach Thomas Peace. You can follow Coach Peace on Twitter at Coach_Peace, or you can follow Peace of Mind Athletics on Instagram. And Black Love and Marriage Our Way. You can follow them on every social media platform that's out there, from YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And we want to give big shouts out to our main sponsors in Two Pits Barbecue, as well as Briggs Goalkeeper Training. And you can follow Coach Eric Briggs on Instagram at Eric Briggs 8. And you can also follow him on Twitter at Eric Briggs, Briggs. Yeah, that's right. I thought D Briggs, but it's Eric Briggs. Sorry about that. So these are our sponsors. Really appreciate them. Without them, we wouldn't be able to have a show that we have now. And with all that and said ado, I'm going to play this introduction of our special guest tonight. This guy's a phenomenal athlete, as well as an academic student athlete, and we will get into talking about that. And as I told y'all before, and on every show, we have athletes that are very intelligent. They're going out there, they're getting their degrees, they're doing what they need to do in school, because, you know, football is just an outlet. It's an outlet to getting your education. Hopefully it could be a free education, but if it's a partial scholarship and you're in school, or if it's a scholarship, if it's not a scholarship at all, the main thing is getting that scholarship. But before I play this introduction video of our special guest, if you are following us on Instagram, we really appreciate it. But if you post anything, we won't be able to see your comments. So we're asking you now to switch over to Facebook, which is National Scouting Service, or you can switch over to YouTube, follow us at National Scouting Service, and you can post your comments or anything like that. And myself and our special guest would be able to get to those comments. Now, without further ado, we're going to play this introduction video for our special guest, who will be on our show shortly. And I am Coach O, and this is the National Scouting Service Podcast Show.
Here with Jaeiln Benefield, our player of the game from this big win tonight. I mean, just talk 24 yards rushing on the night for you. What was that like?
Just trying to do anything I can to help my team win.
Yard line attack. Here's a handoff to Benefield, heading left. Big hole, touchdown. He walked over. Touchdown, Eastern Illinois.
Go. Schaffner snaps it. Handoff up the middle. Benefield sprints over. Touchdown.
As this one is a pitch to Benefield. He's got all day to run. He is at the 40, now the 30 before getting tackled.
O'Brien back to pass again. Dumps it off. Caught by Benefield. Streaking down the
against Murray State. As these two teams meeting for the final time as OVC members. Benefield's going to run it, and a great cut. Benefield finally brought down.
For the quit so many times, but I knew this moment would come. Now it's my time. I gotta make up for all them nights that my mama cried.
And now we do have our special guest on the screen. Let me get the rest of the things that I had on the screen off. And we want to be able to welcome our special guest. And we're glad to have him on this show as we do a lot of our other student athletes. So we want to give Mr. Jaeiln Bennett a round of applause for giving us the opportunity to interview him right here on the National Scouting Service podcast show. And without further ado, Mr. Bennett, welcome, Benefield. I'm sorry, Mr. Jaeiln Benefield. Welcome to our show, man. I'm glad to have you on. And with that being said, why don't you let our guests know who you are, where you from, and how they can follow you on all your social media outlets.
Yeah, Jaeiln Benefield, Pearland, Texas. Twitter 2_Benefield, Instagram J_BENE 3 at the end.
All right, man. Well, welcome to the show. And I know we have some followers out there and listeners tuning in to the show. What did you think about that video, man? I was looking at you on the screen and you were smiling. I bet you were trying to figure out where in the world did he pull that up from?
Yeah, it's been a while since, especially the first video. That was definitely a throwback, and some of the high school film. It's just crazy to see over the course of time how I forgot about those things.
Yep, man. But look, I know that I'm gonna send you that video that we had made up right here for National Scouting Service, man. And when I saw that, listening to you in that interview as well as to your collegiate interview, man, it was basically the same. You want to help your team. You're gonna do whatever it takes for you to help your team. And then you talked about, I guess you went through some things they asked you when you was at EIU about the height and the size, and you was like, hey, man, that really don't matter. Bring it. It don't matter who's in front of them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's still football, no matter what level, from Little League all the way up to college. And I ain't played in the pros, but for the most part, I believe at the end of the day, it's still football. And so as far as it's a team sport, so that's going to always stay the same. And yeah, I always had that chip on my shoulder as far as it's not about the size or anything about that. It's all about what you could do. And,
hey, man, I went through the same thing, dog, the same thing. So I feel you on that one.
For sure.
Well, we have a guest right now that just posted on here, and I'm pretty sure you may know who this is. And it's from the Faith Family Football. And they said, young, what they said?
Young Jahar. Yeah, that's my pops.
Oh, okay, young Jahar. Well, big shouts out to Pops, man. You have an excellent young man here, and big shout out to the Faith Family Football. Now, with that being said, I like to do this thing called Let's Break the Ice. And this is going to be breaking the ice with Jaeiln Benefield, okay? Now, I got some questions I'm going to ask you. And the first question is, when was the last time you worked out?
Today, actually, about like 2 hours ago.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just making sure you're still getting it in because I worked out at 5 this morning.
Yeah, you got me beat on that one. You know, that's the daily routine when you're in college. So anytime I get an opportunity to get out of waking up at 5 to work out at 6, 7, I'm gonna do it. But I already know in a couple of days here it's back on that type of routine.
All right. Now, another question I wanted to ask you. I don't want to know your roster height. What's your actual height?
Legit, 5'9", 3/4. But I could sneak by and say 5'10". But yeah, 5'9".
Okay, because I seen on one of the rosters they had you at 5'11", but I know you probably play like you 6'1", but that's all right though. Hey, keep putting it up there, man. They don't need to know that. They just need to know what you can do with them hands, them feet, and with that helmet when you're blocking.
Yes, sir.
My next question is, how many siblings do you have in your family?
I had 2 little sisters and a little brother. I'm the oldest.
Okay. Now, with that being said, I guess they too small to be able to compete right now. Who is the best athlete overall in your family?
Right now it's me, but I think my little brother might get me. My little sister is my oldest little sister. She's the scholar out the group for sure. She go to University of Virginia. And then my other little sister, she the track star. And then my little brother, he playing football and running track, but down the road he might get me.
Okay. Well, you keep working with him, man, because the thing is, he got to get it from somewhere. And what better person to get it from other than you?
Yeah, appreciate that.
All right. Now, do you have a nickname? And if so, what is it? I want to know what the family nickname is and what nickname that they was calling you in college or still calling you in college.
Yeah. So growing up, my nickname was J-Dog. I always I ain't give myself that nickname. It just came about. And then when I got to high school, they always call you by your last name. And so instead of always yelling out my whole last name, they started calling me Benny. And at first I ain't know who Benny was. I ain't like it. I was like, man. So we ended up having this my Wildcat formation to be a Wildcat quarterback was Red Benny or something like that. And I was like, man, next thing you know, they kept calling me. So I was like, all right, hopefully I'll leave that in high school, get to college. And all of a sudden, Benny come back up again. I'm like, man, I still ain't
run away from it.
Yeah, so they call me Benny, they call me Jay. And so then it just got to the point where they just call me Jay Benny all the time. And I was like, all right, it is what it is. So
okay. So you would still answer to Benny if you heard that name.
Depending on who's saying it. So I'm just out and about and I hear that, I don't know who that is, but we in the facility around school. I got to the point where some people knew me by Jaelin and some people knew me by Benny. So it's all they're like, oh yeah, so Jaelin. They're like Jaelin, and I'm like Benny, and they're like, oh yeah. So it was crazy.
But that's a nice nickname, man. Why you don't feel it? Like, what's wrong with it?
I don't know. When I hear Benny, it don't look fitting to me, but it got to the point where now it is what it is.
Okay. Now, my next question, we're on Breaking the Ice, and I know a lot of people probably waiting on this answer from you because I'm pulling for the Bulldogs in Georgia. Who will win the national championship tonight?
I'm rooting for TCU, but is Georgia. I read the stat line the other day that no team since they started the college football playoffs has won back-to-back. So if they win tonight, they'd be the first to win back-to-back since they started the college football playoffs and everything. So but I'm rooting for the Texas team. Know a couple guys on the team, so and I also know Julian over there at Georgia, so it's kind of tough.
Well, I know a couple of guys over there at TCU, and their parents probably going to be mad at me. My cousin, big shout out to my cousin Mark Tyler. He was getting mad at me the other night when we was watching the boxing fight, and he was like, "How you ain't gonna pull for the Texan team?" And I was like, "It doesn't matter, man. I'm pulling for the team that I think have the better chance to win." But I like to give a big shout out to Noah Daniels. He's number 21 for TCU, and Josh Foster, number 15 for TCU, and as well as John Boy over there, Lil Humphrey over at Georgia. So he'll have a chance of getting him a national championship ring too. Would you like to give a shout out to the guys that that's playing on either side?
Yeah, you call them Noah Daniels and Julian over there at Georgia. So yeah, them guys, I've been on them for a while. So
all right. Well, big shouts out to them, man. I'm rooting for the the Bulldogs. I know I'm gonna get some flack for that when I leave to go watch the game, but it is what it is. Now, the next topic I wanted to get into, because I see that you are real strong on this, man, and I commend you on that. And we're going to talk about God first and family over everything. Now, some of the things that I have seen you put up, I went and copied, and I wanted to ask you about it. But one of the first questions I want to ask you, and I kind of know already, but this is for our viewers, so don't think I'm questioning you on it. How important is your faith?
It's everything, you know. Without God, I don't know where I don't even want to know where I'd be, but that's something that like it's not even up for debate. Growing up in my household, my family, everything like that. So they didn't like, I'm not gonna sit here and say they forced it, but like my testimony is way more like it's too long for me to even say. So it's like if it ain't God, then who type thing, you know. So that's just something I always am appreciative. I'm blessed and highly favored in so many different ways that like I said, if it ain't God, then who?
Hey, and I believe you on that. Like I said, man, I had, doing my research on you, finding out some of the things, man, and it seemed like every other post, that's what you're talking about. Every other post, even if you commending other athletes, and that's another thing I respect you on, man. Here, you getting a lot of glory and a lot of accolades, but you always giving shouts out to other guys, or you always saying, "Hey, go check this guy out." You sleeping on him, and whoever get him is going to be a steal. He's a diamond in the rough, and you don't find that much these days with athletes, and even with adults. People don't want to compliment other people or give them some type of gratification of what they're doing because they're afraid that they're going to miss out on something. And I think your blessing is going to come 10 times fold by you doing that, man. So continue to do that. And I really, really look at you real highly for doing that, because this is on your platform and you don't have to do that, but you do it anyway.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I always believe that like you can't hate on the next person and think you're still gonna get blessings, you know. So I don't just put my hat out on and put my name out on anybody and everybody, but the guys that I definitely feel like deserve it, that don't get what they deserve, I try to at least help and vouch for them guys. So, and I just would hope, not doing it and hope that they in return, but just hoping somewhere down the road, down the line, that they'll do the same for me, no matter who it is. So that's just how I look at it.
I like that, man, and I salute you on that. The next question I have for you, how important is family to you?
Am I right? Like, I'm a little bit of a mama's boy. I can't lie, and they're literally my everything. So leaving far to go to school, leaving far from home to go to school is hard because I'm family oriented. Like, I got 3 younger siblings, and it's not considered a real big family, but when you got 6 people in the household, it keeps you busy. Whether we're supporting one another, they supporting me. We just hanging around the house. It's good to always have one another to where you don't feel like you got to go out and do other things, because there's plenty of times like it's crazy. Some of my friends would hit me up and be like, "Hey, what you guys up to?" And it'd be like around holiday time. I was like, "I'm with my family," you know, like that's all I know. So they're literally my everything. My little brother, he stay on me. Like him seeing me go through the recruiting process gonna have him way ahead of the change when he go through it. My little sisters, just being a good role model for them, and then my parents, the sacrifices they made for me and my siblings is crazy. So like, I just feel like my parents, they sacrificed so much. I can only do right and try my best to repay them in the way that they act. So
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Now, my last question on with the God first and family over everything. I saw you post this, and it's on your Twitter page. So those who probably not following Jaelin's Twitter page, be sure you follow that, because he be posting some nice stuff. And it don't just be about sports; it be about life as well. Tell me about, you had post 1-800 hashtag call God. What did
yeah,
you mean by that?
you know, every business, all these companies, they all have like, 1-800, whatever. I'm a forever call God. That means pray to God through the good, the bad, the happy, the sad, however the song go. I'm a call him, man. Like, I'm giving thanks even when things ain't good. I'm telling them thank you for even getting me to that point, and just for guidance. I'm still young, still got I pray to God, I still got a lot of life to live, and I just, man, I'm calling them by everything. regardless. So I know that for sure that that's one person. If you ain't got nobody else, you can always call on him, and it's gonna. You don't know when it's gonna be. Like the ending part of that is always at God's speed. So you don't know when it's gonna be. It could be right on time. And he always on time. So it could be down the road, right then and there. But when you need him most, he gonna be there.
Listen to this young man speak. That's what I'm talking about, man. Shoot, boy, you got me excited over here.
Appreciate it.
All right, now let's get into the high school that you attended, and we're going to talk a little about Pearland High School. One of my questions to you, because I have a lot, how was the atmosphere there when you attended Pearland? And I'm talking about the atmosphere of, was they supportive? And I'm pretty sure you saw people that probably looked different from you. Was you welcome? How was the program? How was the coaches? How was the teachers?
Yeah, so I'm originally born in like all my family in Galveston County, Hitchcock, Lamar, Tech City, Galveston, Tech City, all that. Like so, when we moved from around the area, Dickinson and everything to up here, I was still young, but like all my family and like I still played Little League football down there, all that. So I wasn't really involved into the community too much until about 7th, 8th grade out here in Pearland. So it was an adjustment for me, especially school. School was tough. It was hard adjusting up here. Uh, from there, from once I got older and I started to realize why my parents moved me to Pearland, I want to say it was like 4th grade when they went to state in 2010 and they beat Eunice Trinity in state. That was the first state championship. Tony Heath, the head coach at the time, originally from Lamar, won all those state championships at Lamar and everything. And then later down the road, my 7th or 8th grade year, they played against Allen in the state championship against Colin Murray. So seeing that and seeing like, man, that's what I want to do. Like, and no knock to any of the teams down there in Galveston County. I got plenty of friends, family, and everybody that played down there. But at the time, they wasn't, Lamarck had started to fall off and everything. They were still really good at the time. And then Dickinson was up and coming too. So I'm all like, well, this is my opportunity to go and do that. That's why my family moved me here, as well as for school. And so I was all like, hey, it's a perfect opportunity to go and play in Dallas Cowboy Stadium for a state championship. And I got out here and it was an adjustment. We had 3 freshman teams, freshman A, freshman B, freshman C, 2 JV teams. You got JVA, JVB, and then a varsity team. So, and I'm going into high school. I was probably like 5. I'm only 5'9" now, so 5'10", but I'm only like 5 at the time. I was like 5'6", 140 pounds as a freshman, So it's easy to get lost as a number out there. And with all you, over 100 people just for the freshman team. Varsity team got over 100 people. You got some people that ain't seen a varsity team till their senior year, and they just want to wear the jersey. So it was crazy to see that. I ain't never seen anything like that. I didn't know that was part of it. But I grew up playing defense my whole life too. That's another thing. So I thought I was a corner. I was like, oh, I'm going to corner. That's it. Like I'm trying to go lock stuff down and everything. And but actually my 8th grade year when I was at Pearland Junior High East, they had me playing both sides, running back and receiver, and then also safety and corner. So then when I got to high school, I tried to leave offense. I was like, man, these dudes too big. I ain't playing offense. I'm going to go play corner. The coach was all like, hey, where's the running back from East at? So he bring me back over there on offense. So I ended up switching back to offense. And as far as like the town, the atmosphere, the community, it was second to none. Like I want to say the first time I really realized it was when I was going to the Pearland versus Dawson game. Pearland versus Manville game, seeing how it's sold out the week. Like it's hard to even get tickets to come to the game by Tuesday. The stadium, the people, it was cool to see all that. Something I ain't really never seen as far as on a high school level, with always going to, other schools to go watch my friends and family play. And then the administrators, once I got to high school, my freshman year, it's 2 sides of the campus. So your freshman year, you really just on the freshman side. And the teachers, they are really supportive, helpful. My mom, she's really big in my academics, so she had me in all these AP and pre-AP classes, advanced placement. And like I said, it was already adjustment to even going to Pearland, let alone in AP classes and everything. And shout out to moms. I know you watching this, but at the time, and it was hard. I was like, I'm playing football, and I'm trying to be not just a number in my class, and then also dealing with these AP and pre-AP classes. It was tough. But the teachers were really helpful. It wasn't my freshman year. Outside of the athletic part, the sports, it's not a lot of people that was African American. Houston is a really diverse part, but in Pearland, it was a lot of whites, Asians, Mexicans as well. But it wasn't a lot of blacks, and those especially in pre-AP and AP classes. So my teachers did help me out a lot. They still reach out to me to this day, see how I'm doing and everything. And then I'll say the coaches at that time, they were really good. Coach Heath, I know he's probably, I think at one point he was up to being like the Texas High School Hall of Fame for coaching soon or whatever. I know Vipe did something for him. Coach Evans, like the amount of running backs that came through Pearland went on to play Division I football was crazy. Like I didn't really learn all this until I got to the high school, and they pride themselves on their tradition. It's been, 2023, so 23 years now of playoffs, let alone just that. Like that's a expectation that people don't even second guess. You ain't going to playoffs. It ain't about if you're making it to playoffs, it's how deep you're going in playoffs. That's the big thing there. So it's just things like that that excited me about going to Pearland High School. The people was different, but they was very supportive, and the atmosphere was second to none. It was definitely different when I got to college.
Hey, we gonna get into that. So hold that thought. Now, when you was at Pearland, I got to put you on the spot now because I know you probably had a lot of them. First off, what was your favorite subject?
English. I liked English.
English. Okay.
Yeah.
And I can tell by the way you speak. Who was your favorite teacher?
We're gonna do it by year because
okay.
My freshman year, they all probably was. I liked all of them. Probably my geometry teacher, Miss Scott. Miss Scott, she was a real one. She helped me out a lot. Very personal relationship and everything, and cool lady. My sophomore year, definitely Miss Badinsky, my chemistry teacher. That class was hard. She was the type that was I never forget. I'd come to her class after a varsity game. I was on varsity as a sophomore, so that was like really rare at Pearland. So I come to her class after a game on Friday, so like Monday or whatever. And she'd be like talking to me about the game, telling me great job about who we got next. She'd already started the scouting report for the next team and everything. And then she'd be like, yeah, by the way, you didn't do too hot on your test last week. So I'm gonna need you to come in and, do some tutoring, some corrections. I was like, Miss B, you couldn't just tell me that before, you was over here making me feel
the good news first. Yeah.
Yeah, you got me feeling all good about my performance, and then you're gonna go and tell me I didn't do too hot on the test last week. But she was cool though. She was definitely, like I say, she one that definitely still reaches out. My junior year, Miss Hampton for sure. Really enjoyed my class period with her. And then my senior year, I had blow-off classes my senior year. That was one thing I did want to where like my last year, I didn't have to stress too much about school. So I took like aquatic science and classes like that. But my last year, I don't know, it was tough. So that was some of my favorite teachers at Pearland for sure though.
Okay. Now, academically, what was your goals in high school academically?
I'll say I didn't academically become goal driven in school until like my second semester of my sophomore year. And I looking back at it, it was probably like that was one of my biggest regrets because my freshman year, after I got switched into the varsity athletic period, because with Pearland being so big, you had like a freshman athletic period, and then you had a JV and varsity athletic period.
Wow.
So it was two different totally class periods. You couldn't have everybody in the football program in one athletic period is too many people. So when I got switched from the freshman athletic period to the varsity athletic period my second semester of my freshman year, oh, I thought I was hot. Like I was on the other side of campus with the upperclassmen. I was late to class sometime. Like my mom to this day, she still messed with me about it. But so my freshman year was really an adjustment. Like I said, I'm already taking hard classes. I thought I was, finally starting to arrive athletically. And school was like, it wasn't like hard as far as like to where I couldn't do it, but you had to put in the extra time, just like you put in the extra time in sports. And I wasn't doing that to the complete standard that I needed to. And I paid for it in the long run as first, like at the beginning of my athletic and academic career at Pearland. And so I say my goals was to definitely get a certain score on my SAT, because then I started to learn how that made a difference as far as with scholarships. And then my GPA, I finished with a 3.3 in high school, but that was my mom wanted me at a 3.5. But it was hard because you transition from the 6.0 scale to a 4.0 scale.
Mhm.
And so at first on a 6.0 scale, I was doing mediocre and switched down to a 4.0 scale and was doing a lot better. So it was good to be able to at least succeed that aspect of things as academically. But those were the two, SAT and GPA wise. The class ranking, everybody had that type of goal, but I had 800 people in my class. So it was like, man, you ain't in that anything 400 and below,
Yeah.
you okay with it.
Yeah, so you just got to worry about that GPA. You ain't worry about
Yeah.
the class ranking. Now,
Nah,
if there was one thing that you can change in high school, what would that be?
taking academics more seriously at the beginning.
I'm glad you say that, because we definitely going to get in that, and our student athletes need to hear that. But we know that didn't hold you down from where you was at to where you at now. But I'm glad that's one of the things you said for our student athletes can hear that. Last, what was your ultimate goal coming out of high school?
Coming out of high school academically or athletically?
No, we ain't worrying about athletics right now.
Academically?
Academically.
Definitely Dean's List. That was one thing. My mom, she always was talking to me about is a Dean's List. I didn't know what a Dean's List was. I just knew it was like you had good grades, you made it. I didn't know what the requirements were, nothing like that. So my freshman year, I finished with like a 3.5 GPA, 3.6 or something like that. And at most universities, that is the Dean's List, but at Eastern, it's 3.8 in order to get on the Dean's List. Yeah, so I didn't get it my first semester, but my second semester I did. My second semester I actually got a 4.0 in my second semester GPA. So that was one thing that I was really proud of. And I think I ended up getting a Dean's List like 2 or 3 times at EIU.
Dang.
Yeah, so they do it per semester. So like 2 or 3 semesters there, I got the Dean's List. So
okay,
that was my goal.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because you jumping the gun. We still on high school now.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Now let's get into high school sports at Pearland. You kind of gave us a little insight of how everything went over there. But what sports did you play while you was at Pearland? Was it just football? Did you run track? Did you play any other sport?
Football and track. Football and track. I tried to give basketball a go. Last time I played basketball was 8th grade. I got to Pearland, and it was like the same thing. You got a freshman team, a JV and varsity, but your freshman team, I think we had a freshman A and B, and then I think it was just one JV team though. And so me and my homies, we was like, hey, bro, we're going to go try out for basketball. And I think like it was on a weekend for tryouts. And my team, one of the coaches was like, nah, you're getting switched into the varsity athletic period to get bigger, stronger, faster, to try to make varsity football. Don't waste your time. You're not a hooper. And I was all like, if it was anybody else that wasn't real with themselves, they probably would have been like, nah, coach, I'm a hooper. I wasn't no basketball player.
Yeah,
so.
it's crazy you say that. I had to tell one of my student athletes that, man, he was hurt, but now he's in college. He graduated, and he thanked me for that every time he see me. Because if you're trying to play, football is your money. And, sometimes coaches know, like, this is the route you need to go. You need to leave that alone. Nothing against that. We want you to be able to play and have fun. But when it's coming to you graduating and getting in school, and hopefully your parents don't have to pay for it, you need to go this route that we're telling you that you need to go. What was
good at it? I would never knock it. Like if you good at it, man, play all the sports you can. Because once you're done, you're done. Like, so but I knew realistically, like I wasn't no hooper, so it wasn't I wasn't gonna help the team, wasn't gonna help myself. So it was like it was a waste of time.
All right. What was your goals athletically when you was at Pearland?
My freshman year was to definitely be the starter on the freshman A team because no freshman played varsity. No matter how good you were or nothing, it didn't matter. Realistically, I wasn't ready for varsity as a freshman anyway. So, my freshman year, I wanted to be a starter on freshman A team. I didn't know what position at the time yet. Ended up doing that. I was a freshman starter at running back, and then my sophomore year, I wanted to make varsity, and that originally I was supposed to play slot. Ended up having to switch to running back. And then my junior year, that year, my goal was to team as individually, these are individual goals. My junior year was to get my first scholarship and be all state. And then my senior year was also to be all state and be able to choose where I want to go for college. So those are my individual goals.
And I was going to ask you, and I'm going to post this other comment because I was curious about this, but I'm going to wait till we get into the next topic. What was your favorite sport overall? You already said you played football. You tinkled with basketball and you ran track. Overall, what was your favorite sport?
Baseball.
Hey, man, I played baseball too.
Yeah, I played catcher and outfield.
Okay, now, can you play or could you play? You weren't just on the field. Could you actually play though?
Yeah, no, I played. Actually, the last year I played was my 8th grade, 8th grade year. I definitely missed it, but hadn't had a real conversation with my dad. I was succeeding really well at track at the time, and track and baseball with conflict. So, like, I want to say that was last like 2 years of doing both. Like, I remember going to a baseball game, playing in a baseball game. Or no, it started off with a track meet because a 4x1 would be the first event of the track meet. And then I'll go run a 4x1, go play in a baseball game, leave there, come back and run like in a 200, leave there, and then go back and finish the rest of the tournament in baseball. So it just was like a lot on my parents and everything. And then but at the time, me and my cousins, we all did it together. We played every sport together. Growing up, I played football, basketball, baseball, and ran track, and we all did it together. But baseball was definitely my favorite at first. I was a bunter. I wasn't no heavy hitter.
That was me.
Get the ball in the play, get on base. Once I'm on first, I'm definitely still in the second. So that was my thing. But nah, it was definitely baseball. That was my first sport. I actually started playing that at 3, T-ball. But then I just kept playing. But football ended up being my better sport.
Okay. Now, before we get into this next topic, we're going to talk about recruiting coming out of high school. But I had to ask you this question, and because he's on right now watching. I played with a guy, and I didn't know that he was your relative, but I should have known with you coming from Hitchcock, by the name of Isaac Scooter Benefield. Who is he to you?
Yeah, that's my cousin. It's crazy. As soon as I got to Pearland, some of the coaches, like I said, Coach Heath was from Lamarck. Some of the coaches were from Galveston and everything. And they asked me, that's like the first question. They was like, are you related to Isaac Scooter Benefield and everything? And at first, like, I ain't know, like, my family's so big on that side of the family, it's not even funny. Like, I got so many cousins I ain't know about. And I go home, ask my mom, my dad, they like, oh yeah. So then they start telling me I'm seeing film. And from my understanding, he was like one of the best things to come out of Galveston and everything like that. So and then he even got an opportunity to see me play my sophomore year in high school. And it was cool to get an opportunity that he came down and watched me play. And so they always say he was the best running back in the family. So at this point, I think I'm chasing him. So
nah, man, don't back down on him like that, man. Hey, and that's my guy, man. We kind of like brothers. Like we are real close. Me and him played running back. He was in front of me. I had to share it with him. But when we would do pass plays, they would take him out because he ain't had no hands. He couldn't catch. And then I used to have to ground and pound while they toss him the ball to get outside and show the speed and all that. I know he ain't gonna like he over here laughing, talking about laughing out loud for real. But that's my guy, man. I love him to death. he hit me up last week because we trying to get some of our old school game tapes, and I'm pretty sure with him, he want to show his kids because when y'all get older, y'all don't think that we used to be able to play. And my son is the same way. He'd be like, "Well, let me see the film. Let me see the film." But our film is cassette tapes or real tapes, so it ain't gonna be the same. He talking about you outdid me, little cuz. Now, hey, and he kind of said that, Scooter. I asked him who was the better athlete overall, and he said him. Until I told him you was on here, then he wanted to change it all.
Well, I thought you meant immediate family. Like I got a whole big family that the athletes out of the family is crazy. It's I don't even know where to start. So
yeah. But I know he's proud of you, man, and you can tell it running the family with your speed, with his speed, and you playing running back, and he played running back. But I'm pretty sure your hands is better than his because he couldn't catch a lick. Now let's get into recruiting at Pearland. And this is one of the things I like talking about because it entails academics. You got to be able to have your academics, GPA. Like you said, sometimes your GPA can depend on what you need to make on the SAT or the ACT or class ranking. Now, how was your recruiting when you was at Pearland? You kind of went into that because you were saying now it'll be beneficial for your siblings because they seen the process that you went through.
Yeah, the recruiting process it's a roller coaster. You have the ups and your downs. So with me being able to play as a sophomore on varsity in the state of Texas at the highest division, with a lot of players coming out of Pearland High School, the universities come through there all the time, and they came in early. And so as a sophomore, they all just wanted to see what my potential was, and they was like, at the time, like I said, I played varsity sophomore year, probably weighing no more than 150 pounds, like for real. So and we're lying on the scouting thing. It's saying like 165. I'm 150 for sure. So it's like,
hey, we know that feeling. We used to put the weights in our pants to get on the scale. Shoot.
Yeah. So they're telling, so they see that, and then they come down, and like the film is what get them there. And then they got down, and they like, "Hey man, we love your film. How do you feel about playing slot?" That's always their first question. Or how do you feel about playing corner? And as a sophomore here on varsity, I was like, yeah, I'm open to anything. You got University of Missouri, Texas A&M, LSU, these schools coming down. You ain't gonna tell them no. You just trying to get that opportunity. And so the next thing they want is you to come to their camps and everything like that. And when I was going through high school, the 7-on-7 circuit was really just starting to really get big. It wasn't like it is now at all. You got people getting offers just off of 7-on-7.
Yep.
So for me, it was straight football, straight film. And then when they come in trying to pass the eye test, so it was tough at the beginning. It was good, and then academically, that's when I had the realization. We had to sit down and talk to moms, and it's like, look, ma, this 78 in this pre-AP class could be an 87 or a 97 in his regular class.
Yeah, I gotta get up out of there. Yeah.
Because now you're sitting down because the 6.0 scale, the pre-AP AP classes, the NCAA doesn't care about that. They're gonna condense that down to the 4.0 scale every time, regardless of how hard, who the teacher was, what type of class it was, or anything like that. And so for me, I had to go ahead and sit down with mom and like, look, and that's the main thing is my mom, she just wanted to make sure I wasn't putting all my eggs into sports. She was all like, if the higher your GPA is, the more academic success you have, you don't have to depend all on football. But then at the same time, I was like, I'm having success at football. Let's get the grades we need to where I could go ahead and be eligible and everything, have a good GPA. So that's where we was able to sit down and come to that realization with that. Then you talk about SAT. So me and some of my classmates that was on varsity as sophomores, we had to take our SAT a lot earlier than other people because we are starting to get attention from these schools, and they want to make sure you're going to be qualified and eligible when that time's come. And it doesn't hurt to be on a head start with that stuff. Take it as a freshman. And you could just keep scoring higher and higher. I know at one point they wasn't even asking for SAT scores with COVID and stuff. I don't know if it's still the same, but those were like the things that really set the stones, set up me for success. doing my recruiting process. And then my junior year was a good time for me because that's when they started to really come in and evaluate. Because now, like your senior year, I'm not saying it's too late, by no means necessary, because you got late bloomers, but that junior year is like a really staple part of your recruiting process. And they would come down, and that's what they really was talking about, different positions for me: corner, slot, corner, slot. And I was open to it still. And so I would go to these camps, and I was getting invited to the Nike opening camp, the Adidas 3-stripe camp, all these camps, and the university private camps. And I go out there and play other positions like slot. Didn't feel too much comfortable lining up against a 4-star corner, and I ain't played corner in like 3 years, but I most definitely got a slot, so it was okay with that. And so I go out there, and I actually got labeled as a 3-star receiver at the end of my junior year. And then I had the SAT score that I needed. My GPA is where it needed to be. And at the end of my junior year, like that May, I received my first 2 offers. My first one was from Lamar University out there in Beaumont, and UIW, University of Incarnate Word in San Antonio. They both Division I offers, FCS. And so I'm thinking, it's the end of my junior year, I still got my senior year, is only up from here. And I still had Texas State, Texas A&M, North Texas, like all these other schools that are FBS schools reaching out to me, recruiting me and everything. So I'm thinking I'm just only going to get better from here. And so my senior year, my going into that summer, going into my senior year, I actually pulled my hamstring really bad, and I wasn't able to go to all the camps I was supposed to go to and I wanted to go to. And I just had to ride strictly off of my senior year. So that football season, it was good for me. I finished like top 20 in the Houston area in rushing. We were 10-0 going into the playoffs. We was ranked in the Houston area, ranked in the state, had really good attention. But at the end of the day, I was still playing running back, and I had limited film and slot. So at the time, I'm feeling like it's a slap in the face. I'm like, I'm got more yards than this guy, my film better than this guy, I'm dead better than this guy, and they got offers to these universities. And looking back at it, like I see how hard it is for a coach to stand up in front of his coaching staff and be like, "Hey, we want to offer this 5'9", 160-pound guy that played running back. He has limited film at receiver, but this is our guy," type thing. And I can understand, because once you get to college, you understand you provide for these coaches to feed their family. You know, where it's different, where you standing in front of a coaching staff and being like, "Hey, I want to offer this 6 foot, 200-pound running back. He only got half as many yards, half as many touchdowns, but we could polish him up and get him where he wants to be or whatever, you know, where we need him to be." And so at that time, I still was like, man, I don't know, UIW and Lamar actually wanted to bring me in as an athlete. They were all like, "We don't know where you're going to play yet, but we want you to get on campus. We want you to be a part of our team, and you feel like you could help us somewhere." They was even talking about maybe even corner. And I was like, "Coach, you want me to sign in December after you bringing in running backs that don't have nearly as better film and stats to me, and you want me to just sign as an athlete, and I don't know what position I'm going to play." I was like, "I don't know." And then UIW, they wanted me to play slot. At the time, UIW, they was really that's when they started to get good. And but I didn't want to sign in December. I tried to swing back after December signing date. They was like, "Hey man, your scholarship is no longer on the table because we already filled the box. You wasn't ready when we were. It's on to the next." And that's another thing, when you're going through the recruiting process, it's a business. So they not gonna beg and plead. It's another one just like you somewhere down the street, maybe somewhere in a different state, but it's plenty of you, so they're not gonna beg you. And then Lamar, when I tried to swing back after December signing day, they reduced my scholarship. And I was like, "I'm not gonna sign to anything less than I feel like I'm worth." So it got to the point where I still had attention from the FBS and other FCS schools, and I had plenty of D2 offers. But when you go through the recruiting process, the D2s, they're gonna combine everything they possibly can to get you to where you don't have to pay for school. They're gonna combine athletic scholarship, academic scholarship, Pell Grant, anything they can to where you don't have to pay. So they do that to where you don't have to pay for school, but like it's just a blessing to not have to do that. So I had a lot of those, and then I had JUCO offers, and then that's when Eastern Illinois came into the process. And even then, I wasn't sold on going to Illinois just because it was Division I at the time. But I just, all right, man, I just got to figure out what's best for me. So I say the hardest part for my recruiting process was definitely just being undersized and not having a label position. I'm a 3-star receiver playing running back, and I'm undersized. And so it was just tough.
And I seen some of those things, and some of the things. Let me get this up because your cousin had posted. He was like, UT recruited him, but like I said, he couldn't catch. And I wasn't throwing slow. That's my brother, but he really couldn't catch. And you have Deuce to come on, and he said, my brother. So big shouts out to both of them. Big shouts out to Lamar University. I attend Lamar now. I'm working on my bachelor's now. I already got my social, so I'm attending school there.
Yes.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I've been helping kids get in school, and I've been procrastinating on going back to school, but my uncle and my wife was like, hey, get your butt back in school. So now I'm on the course, and I should be done in May. But some of the things you hit on about the recruiting, and a lot of people don't know this, and I'm gonna ask you this key question after this, after we get out of recruiting and move on. Yes, you can take the SAT as a freshman. Your parents have to push it. Talk to the counselor, your academic counselor. If they say, yes, Otis is well ahead of his time, he can take that SAT. You get it out of the way, you do good, you ain't got to worry about it. For some, it's not a good idea to push because you don't want the kids to be intimidated, frustrated, and don't want to take it anymore. Another thing that you said on the recruiting, you said camps, because I was going to get into that. Camps is important because you have to get out of there. A lot of times schools don't have the money to be able to come and recruit you, or they don't have the money to get to where you at. So sometimes film or going to these camps is a good idea. And you're your best own recruiting coordinator. You get good film, you put it out there, you take a cousin with you, take a family member with you, you take a dad or mom or whatever and say, Mom, just hold this camera and press record. I edit everything else. Just don't move it. Just follow me. Sometimes you need that. Now, my last question to you is, in recruiting, is it the coach's responsibility, or is it the parents' responsibility, or is it 50-50?
I say 50-50. Now, especially now with social media, like going through the recruiting process all over again was totally different from me in the portal. So now coming out of high school, I don't even know, like, I wish it was like this because it's legit. Just you put that stuff out there and you send that stuff out. It's so easy for them to get access to it now. I say it's more on the player and the student athlete than the parent or the coach. The coach, or if I'm a student athlete coming in high and been in high school, I'm just asking for coach for the opportunity to be able to get that film. Just coach, get the ball in my hands. Coach, let me get on the field. Like I earn it. I earned that opportunity to get on the field, get that film. If at that point I just need, and I'm gonna make sure I'm on good terms with the coach, coaching staff, and everybody. Because when the coaches come in and ask about it, ask about you and everything, you want them to have nothing but good to say. And so that just do your part with that. The parent, it's different for me because like my dad, he's like, I know if God give me the opportunity to play at the next level, I know he gonna want to be my sports agent. So like, he definitely, the recruiting process was different for him when he was coming out. So he was all for, trying to help me get my stuff out there and everything, talking to anybody he can, create connection. My mom, she wasn't much of an athlete. She ain't do the whole athlete. So she was a straight student. So she didn't, all this process was foreign to her. So in some people's scenario, some people's case, they mom or dad might not be as up to date or as educated as far as with the recruiting process. So they might not be able to help as much. So I just say with the player, don't trust everybody, but make sure you do your part, get that film. And then that's the other thing. It's funny because you never know who knows who. So you do your thing and somebody see potential in you, they'll definitely try to help you and get you out there just in case you don't have that support or that resource as far as the recruiting aspect of it.
Now, on mine, and I take a lot of flack with this when I get with my family and when I get with my friends. I say 50-50, but my 50-50 breaks up in 25-25. on the parent side, what you just said, if you have a student athlete whose parents never went to college or never played sports or never know anything about the recruiting process, they don't know what questions to ask and they don't know who to turn to. But my thing is, parents, if you're one of those parents that's at the game and you cheering all the time because your kid is one of the best athletes out there, you go up to that school and you say, hey, I want to know who my son's academic counselor is. Then you go in there and say, hey, I'm Mr. Benefield's mom, dad, uncle, whatnot. I know he's doing great on the field. How good is he doing in the classroom? And they're going to tell you, oh, he's taking all electives. He's taking gym. He's taking soccer. He's playing ping pong. Now, because he ain't going to be able to go to school.
He ain't going to be eligible for nobody.
For nobody. And then people will be saying, why they ain't help my kid get in school? When as a parent, you wasn't helping your child get in school. Now, on the coaching flip side of it is, if I'm asking you to stay eligible, stay out of trouble, don't go to jail. When you hurt, go to the trainers, get healthy so we can get you back on the field as soon as possible, but we want you to be healed. Get your books. Don't fail. I think I owe you a little bit in saying, hey, man, I reached out to about 5 schools. They don't know me, but this is a way of me networking. Hopefully they'll get to know me and recruit for me again. But I do agree with you because I had one of my soccer athletes to come on, and she was saying her parents don't help her with none of her recruiting. They motivate her because the thing is, if you really want to go to school, you put in the work to reach out to them schools to be able to go.
There's a will, there's a way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Now let's get into the finish, and I'm gonna read this off, and it's just a little bio on you, Jaelin. And yes, you was a 3-star athlete. I seen that on 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, 247 Sport. Yeah. Rivals, one of those.
Now, when you was the 3-star athlete, how did you feel about that? You think you should have been higher, or that's probably where you should have been at?
All that stuff was new. Like, to me, I always had that chip on on my shoulder where I didn't care about stars, because at the camp that I actually got labeled a 3-star at, when they did the best of the best, I was the only player that didn't have a Division I offer or have stars next to my name. So I kind of liked it, being able to like say, hey, I'm up against guys that ain't got the stars and the offers as some of these other guys. So yeah, so for me, it was all like, hey, I'm a ride with that. And then my dad let me know that they was, putting me down as a 3-star and everything, but it was a receiver. And I was all like, well, to me at the time, I'm like, it's just gonna help my recruiting. Like, I'm playing running back. I could show I could do it with the ball in my hands. And I'm a 3-star receiver based off what I done showcased at camps. But it still didn't, like, you don't want to let the outside people get too much in your head, because I can't say, like, around the town, the community and everything, they'll make you more frustrated, They come up to you, man, you're a 3-star, you rank this in the country, this in the Houston area and ranking, you do this, you do that, you're one of the top teams in the area, how you ain't got no offers, where you going to school at, everything like that. So, like, my people keep me grounded though, so they that made things worse. So I just kind of like was blessed to be able to say I had it. But I mean, Justin Jefferson was a 2-star coming out of high school.
Yeah.
Now he was the leading receiver in the NFL. Some guys as walk-ons went JUCO. It's just, I didn't see some of the 5-stars that was probably some of the highest ranked recruits in their class. You don't even know who they are.
Exactly.
So it's just like, I ain't really take it to heart. I just like, I could use it as both ways. Show why I am a 3-star, and then also show why I deserve to be better. And I just use it as motivation, because also along with that 3-star is like my ranking in the state. And I was like, dang, like they put me down there. So it's like, man, it is what it is. Let's keep it going and just use it as motivation.
Okay. Now I'm gonna give them the finish, and I'm gonna just read off a little of your bio before we move on to the college aspects. Now, in high school, played for Coach Rick. Is that Tullis?
Coach Tullis. So y'all finished my high school career under Coach Tullis.
Played with Coach Ricky Tullis at Pearland High School. Helped lead his team to a 10-1 record, including Texas Class A 6A Region 3 District 23 champions. Team advanced to the Texas 6A state playoffs You rushed for an average of 120 yards, 121 yards per game. That's immaculate right there. As a senior, finishing season with 1,210 yards, with 16 touchdowns in 9 games. Added 15 catches for 128 yards, being named the 23-6A most valuable player of the year. Was a three-time first-team All-District selection and was also chosen as the team captain. Man, that right there is a resume within itself. So we got to give you a round of applause for that. And then now we finna get into the college aspect of it, people, and he's not stopping right there either. Now we're going to get into the college life and academics. And I know you was talking about earlier the difference in college, the classroom atmosphere. Myself is considered as a German. I've been to 5 different colleges, only played at 3 different colleges. So I know the aspect how the classrooms can change, the environment on the fields, the team from being big to not that big. So we're going to get into it with you. How many colleges have you attended?
This is going to be my second university that I'm about to attend.
Okay. Now, with this being your second university, why did you choose EIU? And how many years did you play there or stay there?
Yeah, I chose EIU because they just asked me to straight up come be who I am. They is all like, we like your film, we like you as a person. We want you to, I know, like I told them, like, throughout my recruiting process, what I was dealing with. And they just said, man, come here and be a football player and we'll find a way to get the ball in your hands. So I was like, hey, okay. When then also the opportunity, the running back room was really old when I got there.
Let's not get into football yet.
Oh, okay. So
we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
But it was part of me choosing that with that aspect, just them wanting me to be me. And then he said, why did I choose EIU and then what else?
And how many years did you stay there?
I was there for 3.5 years.
3.5 years. Okay, before I get on my next question, your cousin say, look, cuz, were you able to take all your official visits?
Yeah, so the ones that I was actually interested in and that was interested in me, I took only like 4 official visits. You could get 5. So I took 4 official visits. No, 3. I took 3 official visits. I only took 3 of mine. Because there was some schools that, you get offers to and you go up there and you realize it's not a good fit. Some schools offer and then the relationship aspect of things wasn't the greatest. And then also like the board, they offer like 4 running backs. But like, let's say I'm the 3rd and I really like it. They not going to honor my commitment to like the 1st or the 2nd. So it just was like, if one of those guys already committed, then I was like out the picture type thing. So I only took 3 official visits my last year.
Okay. And then it's funny that you said, I guess you was able to get 4 official visits or 5 official?
5. You were able to get a 5 official visits.
Man, when we was in school, it was 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, that's
not enough. Man, if we had 5, boy, we'd have been all over. Hey, I know Scooter gonna say something about that, boy. Hey, I ain't going here, but we finna visit Miami. Boy, we have been everywhere. Now, why did you choose Southern Illinois?
I only got 2 years left, so I just had to make my best move, my last move, and my best move at that. So, it was because of the offense. Because it's for me, I have my degree already. I'm gonna get my master's, and right now football is like I only got 2 years left. That clock is dwindling down, so I just want to be able to have the last 2 years be my best and fit in an offense that really suits my skill set and my opportunity there. And for Southern Illinois, the relationship aspect with the coaches, the chancellor of the university, the people, it was special. And there to see where that program could go with just adding me and a couple other guys that they're bringing in is through the roof, and being one of the toughest conference for FCS football. It was like something that I couldn't turn down. So for me, it was like the offense, the people, and the relationships, and that took care of the rest.
Okay, and we're going to get into that because you said a couple of guys, but I'm going to just throw this out there. It wasn't a couple. They bringing in like 22 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. See there, Jaelin, I did my research, man. You can't say a couple of guys. They bringing in like 22. That's like that's another team.
Yeah, it's like non-transfers.
Hold on, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get into that. Now, you already touched on being so far away. And one of the things that's helping you out, like you said, you family oriented, your family got your back, they support you, and I think that's very important. But being so far away, how often do you get to come home?
Man, I came home my freshman year. I'll never forget this. My first summer up there, I was so homesick. My mom and my dad, we had a 3-day weekend for 4th of July weekend. And my mom and my dad was like, Jaelin, we're not paying for you to come home for 3 days. Like you could stay up there for 3 days. I'm all like, nah, everybody going home. It's nobody out here. It's just legit, just athletes for summer workouts. And I'm not gonna be out here. Like, I want to come home. And so I bought a Spirit airline ticket to fly home for 3 days. I had to find my own way to Chicago airport.
Man, you was desperate to get on.
I was desperate. And like, and I ain't saying now I could say this, but at the time I wasn't gonna be mad if that flight got canceled. Nothing. Like, I was like, man, I don't. So it was hard. It was hard when I first got out there. It was adjustment. A smaller town, just a different scenery. It was nice to see something a little different, but it's not like being around your family. So that was really hard for me. So I think I came home my freshman year twice, because I came home that summer for that 3 days, and then I came home that Thanksgiving break because we didn't make it too far that year, and then COVID hit. So then that's when I came home for that rest of that semester.
And then, it's crazy, man, because I could kind of relate with you on this. I went to school in Kansas, and after not doing what I was supposed to do at Sam Houston, I ended up flunking out, sat out 2 years, and it took one of my friends who I played college ball with to tell a coach about me that gave me opportunity. And I was like, man, I'm not fit to mess up this opportunity. When I moved to Kansas, outside of my uncle being there and all that, I came home 3 times, dog, and I stayed up there for 13 years. Because I was like, I ain't missing nothing. Like,
now when I come home, I'll be like, man, it is what it is. It's time to go back. Like,
your family and your friends who you call family, they gonna come and see you. So you ain't missing nothing at all. Now, we talked about the classroom setting. How is the classroom setting in college compared to the classroom setting in high school? And it may be the same for you because your high school was huge.
Yeah, I'll say the biggest adjustment was like not having class every day and not being structured to have to sit in a building for 8 hours out the day and have to do work. That was something different for me. Like, I think my freshman year I only had one class online, but like my classes were only Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday my freshman year.
Wow.
I was having like 3 classes that day and they were back to back to back. But on Friday, it was weird because that's the other thing. You used to going to class all day and then having a game that night, to where on Fridays you traveling and then that Saturday you chilling and everything to the game. And so it was just different as far as with that aspect of the scheduling of when you got classes. That was something that was different for me. The classroom setting only had 2 or 3 classes where it was a big not only had like 2 classes my freshman year where there's a big population of people in the class. It's easy to like get lost in that class.
Oh yeah,
as far as with your professor and everything, but
just
those classes, yeah, you're just a number for real, especially if you got if you're like not showing up to class or anything like that. The professor won't know, but your grade would know. So you got like a TA, for the bigger classes, a teacher assistant, and they'll go and help you and everything like that. So that was something that was different for me, just not having class every day and not having the class. It was crazy to me. I go to class for 50 minutes to an hour, and we'll be sitting there and the professor will be talking. I think I'm taking notes over everything. And everybody, okay, y'all assignment will be posted online. It's due at the next class period. And I go to sit down and do my assignment, and that assignment don't have nothing to do with what we just talked about in the class. And I'm like, so where are we supposed to be knowing this stuff from? And you find out it's you're supposed to be reading the chapters in the book. And once you read the chapters in the book, it translates over to the assignment and everything like that. I was like, okay, so what's the point of the lecture then? Like, it got to correlate some way, somehow. But then on the test, that's where that come into play. So that's the other thing that was different. In high school, you have so many assignments. like to where even if you missed the assignment for something or you didn't do as good on the assignment for whatever reason, you got so much time to regroup and like catch up and do better in the class and get your grade higher. In college, I remember it was one class my freshman year, I had 3 tests.
That's
You
it.
fail one of those tests, it's like you better figure something out as far as like the rest of the assignments and everything like that. It's just understanding the syllabus, understanding, what ways, and make sure you turn in every assignment, regardless if you think you did good or bad. But just understanding that aspect of it, that was something that was totally different too.
And it's crazy. I don't care how much they try to prepare us in high school for college on studying. That's a whole different ball game of studying.
Nah, for real. If you think you're gonna study the day before a test,
Oh,
you
you
might
out of there.
cancel it
Yeah,
because
you out of there.
it's over. You better be studying. And that's the thing. I was all like, I'll never forget my first test wasn't until like midterm week. And so I'm all like, college easy. Like you ain't got tests every week. Yeah, you go to class, you got like a little in-class assignment maybe once a week or whatever. Like I'm like, man, it's slight. I'm calling mom's like, yeah, man, I got Dean's List on lock. Man, we got to midterm week, had a test over everything up to them 8 weeks. I'm like, I was like,
can I drop that one? Can I drop that one and still be eligible? Hey, I want to post this, and I think this is from one of your teammates, Mr. Broderick Benson said immediately on the field, and then he followed with that by saying, able to be versatile in SIU offense. Is that a former teammate, coach, or who is that?
Nah, that's actually my uncle. Yeah, my uncle. So yeah, he's married to my aunt. Yeah, he went to Southeast Missouri.
Okay.
SIU and Southeast Missouri are rivals. So and then I played against SEMO Southeast Missouri at EIU.
Did y'all win?
Nah, we lost.
Oh man, no bragging. Yeah. And then this is what your cousin posted. He getting us in trouble. He gonna have the whole family wondering why we probably was failing, but he gonna say, "Oh, he came and got me from Louisiana when I got homesick." See what I'm saying, man? That ain't everybody's business, man. I told you that. I told you, cuz like my brother, man. Now let's get into your college academic accomplishments, and you had some great ones, man. And I'm proud of you of that. And I know your family is proud of you of that. On May the 13th of 2022, you posted, "Still feels unreal. It wasn't easy as it seems." You received your BS in business, analytics, and information systems. And with that, you got cum laude honors. Now, congratulations again, brother. We sitting up here talking about academics and not studying, and you better study. But it seems like you got on board, you got on track, and you did what you supposed to do.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that clock definitely hit once I got up to college and realized just how you like. I had my head coach my freshman year. He unstable. How you do anything is how you do everything. So
I like that.
you ain't got life in order off the field. You ain't gonna have it on the field. So just making things easier on yourself. Like why stay up until 2 in the morning when we got practice at 7, trying to do an assignment or whatever. Whenever you can knock it out earlier, be able to go and get recovery, sleep, study your playbook, whatever you need to do to be able to be successful on the field, all that kind of stuff. So really just my success in school was just to try to help me in football. Everything in that is just trying to like not stress myself out, not put any added pressure on myself to go ahead and get be successful academically so I could be successful on the field.
All right. Now, with that being said, before we get into, let's talk some football, and I'm pretty sure that's what everybody waiting on, and I can't wait till we get into that as well. Now, with that being said, you also post, and this is on your Twitter, I believe, James chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. You got hashtag 3 years, hashtag call God, hashtag what you spoke about earlier, God speed. What did you mean by all that?
So it was crazy. Like in that point of time, it was a lot. Like I just came off of an injury that year. My junior year in football, didn't play the way I wanted to. And it was hard because I'm up there, like I said, I'm family oriented. I don't have no family. I'm up there because of football. And at that point in time, I don't have either one. I don't have football. I don't have family. And all I'm thinking about is just thinking about what am I here for then, like why am I up here? And I promised my moms that I was gonna graduate with my bachelor's in 3 years. And I
Right.
went through a lot to go through that to get that and everything. But she's a counselor, and she had to switch from mom hat to counselor hat and really just sit down and talk to me. It was like, Jaelin, you blessed, you still up there, you still doing what you need to do academically. Get that degree. That's something that nobody ever take from you. Even though football taken away from you, you decided that you have to do what you have to do to lead family to succeed athletically and academically. Don't throw none of that away. And so that was a really good moment for me to be able to succeed as far as academically and have my family up there. And that just went to show me that, like, it's always Godspeed with everything. Like, regardless of that, like I said, calling God, regardless of what's going on, regardless of what's going on at that time, how I'm feeling, what's good, what's bad, I'm gonna call him and he always on time. Cause I needed that degree at that time more than anything. Cause I was feeling lost, man. I was so lost. But it was just like at that time, that whole chapter of James too. It's just all about, seeing God and being his servant. And he's always gonna be there. And you call on the God and he's gonna be generous back to you, and just being been a child of God, really. And I just feel like that's what paid off the most to me.
Man, I know your family is so proud of you, man. Just hearing it in your voice and meaning it. And I know you mean it, and I know you believe in it, man. And you continue to keep your trust in him as well as your family, man. And you're going to continue to strive. We know we got 2 more years left of college. We got a long way to go. But I think that next level, somewhere, somebody will be calling, because we already know that you catch better than scooters. So we ain't got to worry about that being a snap in your game to hurt you there. Now, let's get into college football and preparation. What is your favorite football pregame meal?
Pasta. Fun fact, I actually don't eat a lot before games.
Okay.
I don't like to. I feel heavy when I eat a lot, and then also I feel like I get sleepy. The itis. I don't, ain't my thing. So my dad, I still eat chocolate. The Snicker bar.
Oh,
I
that's
eat
my
a
favorite
Snicker
candy.
bar.
Snickers and
Yeah,
Reese's, man.
I eat a Snickers bar before a game, and I'll be good. So, and whenever we have pregame meal, I go up there and get like fruit and some like a small serving of the pasta or the chicken or whatever, and I go up there and eat that, and then on the ride to the game, eat a Snickers bar, and I'm good.
Okay. What is your pregame ritual if you have one?
Yeah, so it's always different as far as with the coaches, who the coaching staff is, as far as like how much time they allow on the field before the game and everything like that. But if I get the opportunity to always take one lap around the field, feel the atmosphere, like as far as the stadium, it's always 100 yards, no matter how you look at it, but it feels different at different stadiums. So I take one lap, go to the back corner, say a prayer then, and then after that, go back into the locker room, get taped, and then right before every game, regardless if I'm a captain or whatever, when you run out, go to the end zone and say a prayer there too.
All right. What are your goals going into each game? And I know the goals can be different, but like, what are some common goals that you're going into a game? Like me, I used to always say I want to have no more than 2 drops, and sometimes 2 is too many.
Yeah, for me, it was always no turnovers. Don't hurt the team, help the team in some way, some shape, some form, even when I'm not having my best game or whatever. So mine is no turnovers, no drops. And then on I play special teams, kick out return, no drop, kickoff returns. And then that was it. And just stay healthy. Everything else, I just feel like it'll take care of itself.
All right. Have you ever returned punt returns?
No, that's something that a lot of
Need
people
to work
ask
on
me
that,
about.
man.
Yeah, and I
Need to
say,
work
yeah,
on
I'm gonna
that.
get to it.
Yeah. Now, what are your future plans now as for football? We know you got 2 more years left. Everybody, we know we want to look at the next level if it's an opportunity to present itself. But what are your plans right now? I know you want to get through the season, go up, hopefully injury free, no major injuries or anything like that.
Yeah, my goal for this upcoming season is individually. I need to have 1,500 all purpose. I gotta get it. And this offense is very much possible. They've had guys do it recently and everything. So that's a goal for mine. And double digit touchdowns. I want at least 10. Um, and then all the accolades will go based off the stats and film. So that's like the two things. Cause like my freshman year, I feel like I didn't play nearly as good or anything and got accolades with like a little like with 800 all purpose yards and 7 touchdowns. So I was like, yeah, I feel like I definitely could do more now.
Okay. What are some of Jaelin's keys to success?
Watch stress when you could finesse. That's definitely like something I've always lived by. Like, that keeps me, in the right headspace. And then always calling God. And then uh that's really it. Like that goes into everything.
Okay. Now, what is a piece of advice that you can give the high school kid that's going through what you went through from trying to work their way into college? What piece of advice would you give them if they really looking trying to play on the next level, which is college?
Yeah. Compete against yourself. It's always you versus you. Not always, because everybody's story is different, everybody's route is different. So you competing against somebody else that you feel as if you better than, or that you chasing to be better than, whatever it is, ain't the right way to look at it. Always just be to try to better yourself and find what your weaknesses are and get better. Because that's one thing that I definitely feel as if that I didn't come to a realization to until later. Is like what I'm good at, another person might not be good at, and what that person good at, I'm chasing that, and I might not get as good as I could be at something else. So it's like just always be in competition with yourself and be patient with yourself as well.
All right. Now we're going to get into Jaelin's Benefield EIU college football accolades. On March the 16th of 2021, you was player of the week, 121 yards, 16 with off of 16 attempts. In 2021, named to OVC's Commissioner's Honor Roll. What is OVC?
It's the Ohio Valley Conference.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and so it's like they're honor roll academically. I don't know how up to date all that is now, but I just recently found out I got it 2 more times. So
Wow.
yeah.
Well, this is the only information I got, man. So if I'm leaving something off, don't be mad at me. All right. I'm just going off of what I researched and what I
Yeah,
got.
nah, I get it.
I want you to get all your honor and praise on here. On
Nah,
August
appreciate
the
it.
17th of 2021, named to the what is the Field Steel preseason all OVC team.
Mhm.
October the 28th of 2021, named the OVC Student Athlete of the Week. April the 23rd, 2022, named Team Captain. November the 23rd of 2022, named to Academic All District Honors. Man, you wasn't playing around in that classroom, brother. We see all the accolades on the football field, but what people need to understand and recognize is, hey, we don't have dumb jocks. This is a very intelligent, smart young man. He getting this stuff done. He already got his bachelor's. Now he's saying he's going to get his master's. So he's working on that. Now, if we're gonna get into the finish at EIU. In your yards in 2019, you had 125. No, you was 12 for 10, 125 attempts on 402 yards. In 2020, you was on. Am I saying this right? No, that's in May the 4th. You had 59 carries for 258 yards. Let me correct that. In 2019, on December the 10th, he had 125 attempts in 2019 for 402 yards. In 2021, they had, I guess you redshirted that year?
So we had a COVID year. So 2019 we played that fall. 2020 we didn't play. We played the spring. We played in the spring. We played 2021. The beginning of 2021, and we backdoored and played the fall of 2021.
Okay, because the reason why I asked that, I was going to say, man, you fell off, but I understand now because you only had 171 yards.
Yeah, so that year I had like 35 attempts.
Yeah.
We only played like four or five games or something like that. I only had like 35 attempts. And then my next year played 4 games as well. So like those 2 seasons back to back was like, that's what I'm saying. I getting that degree at that time was like, okay, I done did something because something that like a lot of people don't really know is like after my freshman year, I received a lot of academic and athletic accolades. The future for me, I thought I was like going only up from there. And the COVID season hit, didn't have a season that fall, played that spring, only played 4 games. So it's basically like a preseason type thing.
Yeah.
Then that next season, I'm coming back. I'm like, hey, this is my year, this is my money year. And tear my hamstring in 2 places. I ruptured my hamstring tendon. Yeah, I ruptured my hamstring tendon and I tore my bicep femur short head. And so that happened in 2 weeks before the first game in fall camp. So then I'm all like, dang. And I come back and I was able to play the last 4 games. And so even just been a blessing to play those last 4 games and then also finish second in rushing and able to redshirt and not waste a year with that injury. And then after that, yeah, this past after that was my this past season, which was my last season there.
And then you finished out with 219 attempts and 831 yards. Man, that's unbelievable. But now, you know, you got to move on, and we understand that. And we look for bigger and better things to come when you go to southeastern
Illinois.
Southern Illinois. They're gonna be mad at me talking about, man, that guy show he can't even pronounce our school name right. Now, let's get into Jaeiln Benefield as a person / athlete. What are your what are your keys to success?
I would say some of the things that just been embedded in me as like I met new coaches, new people, and everything. My coach, he really put into that aspect of how you do anything is how you do everything, and how you do anything is how you do everything, and also like getting paid, passion, attitude, investment, discipline. That's something that I've really started to learn, live by. The passion aspect of it. If you're juiceless, you're useless. You know,
Wow, man,
just
you got
having
a
some
lot.
type of
I like them.
yeah, you know, like just always having some type of passion about your attitude. You create your habits, and then your habits create you. Your investment is just daily deposits, you know, and then discipline, you know. So it's like all those things are just things that's been embedded to me, and I feel like is what just helped me.
Man, keep following that, man. I like them. I like you. Want to post them statements, man. I'm about to steal some.
Well, I can't steal it. They was brought to me, so I was like, hey, it's useful.
I like.
Gotta
them,
keep
man.
spreading it.
Now, let me ask you this, because all right, we know you're going from one school to another, and you know everywhere we go, we have haters. And I'm not saying you're going to have them on your team, but some people in the back of their mind, they may be thinking this. So my question to you: how do you develop trust amongst your players and coaches? Because if I was one of them crazy coaches out there, like, okay, he just went to this school, he left, now he ain't coming here. How can we trust him? How we know he ain't gonna leave from here and go to another school?
And that was part of it, you know, with the portal now, it's crazy. Like it was the number that was in there when I was in the portal. I was just happy to get out. Like, so for me, that's some of the coaches' first question. You know, they don't want to see nothing else. They asking why you in the portal. And based off my response, they felt more than comfortable to proceed with the conversation and the process as far as recruiting me. And so that helped, you know, as far as with that, and just building that relationship, them getting to know me as a person, and reaching out to different people to get, you know, input. And you know, that's hard because you don't know what somebody gonna say, you don't know who knows who. So it's all like, and that's why I always been big on making good first impressions on anybody and everybody, because it was crazy. One of my coaches knew somebody else at another university that knew somebody here, and they reaching out through this long line process to get information about me. So that's just all part of it. And I'll say, as far as like the players, I know how it is to see guys transfer in and bring new recruits in onto your team, and even in your own position room. And the easiest way to earn somebody respect is through your work ethic. If they that's be the easiest way. Is I'm not a person like I vocally leader isn't really me. I ain't your rah motivational speech kind of guy. Like I'm chill, laid back, calm, collect. As far as like when that stuff come around, I like to just do it by action. Like if we need that, I feel like that was the best way I was able to earn my team respect from a freshman all the way up. And just like, hey, Jaelin not gonna say a lot, but I'm here for you type thing. So that's just basically how I feel like if I be able to earn them guys respect and trust and get a chance to build that relationship with them, it's just by work ethic and my actions.
All right. Now, my question to you: is Jaeiln Benefield a leader?
Yeah, I had to.
Hold on, man. You ain't sound too like
because I don't like to talk about myself like like that, to where it was hard for me to adjust to that as being a leader in college, because in high school we been through that process to where like I was already a leader throughout that process, while in college everybody was a captain in high school, everybody was that guy on their team and everything like that. So for me, um I I wasn't a loud vocal guy. My coach had to literally call me into his office and sit me down and say, look, whether you like it or not, you're a leader on this team. And I'm gonna need you to like straight up act like it, hold guys to that standard. You can't worry about who don't like you. You can't worry about who do like you. You just gotta be who you are as a person and hold them guys to the standard that you want to see us be at. And so that was when I realized, like, that was my like second semester of my freshman year. And I was like, dang, I'm 18. I got dudes on my team that's 22 with kids. And you want me to sit here and like try to tell these guys what to do and everything like that? Like, then I had to learn it's different ways of leading, and how to be a leader and what type of leader they are. And like I say, it's just all about a process, just learning. You study learning it. And so I'm a leader uh, different ways than others. So yeah, I just don't like to sit here and be like, oh yeah, because the person that sit here has to say they're a leader, they're not. So
yeah, it was already put it on. You was anointed with it already, man. Now let's get some quotes I would like to know about. On October the 18th of 2021, you posted, "I gotta thank God. He gave me heart and wisdom." Hashtag call God. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, man. God, I feel like anybody else would have just really understood like what all I had been through up to that point. Like he gave me the heart to just keep going, keep giving, stay motivated, and the wisdom as far as like not my wisdom, because at that time I think I was only 20. I'm only 21 right now, so it was like 20 at the time maybe. The wisdom from the outside, my grandparents, my mom, my dad, the wisdom from people I could actually trust, so them putting those things in my ear, keeping me motivated, keeping me in the right headspace. I think that's why I say that I got to thank God for that. Gave me the heart and wisdom.
All right. Now, before we close out, because I got some little trivia I'm going to give you, but I want to see how you feel about this. And we briefly talked about this. How do you feel about NIL deals for student athletes?
Yeah, it's major. For me, being at a smaller Division I school, you don't get all the extra attention or the extra funding as Georgia and TCU, Alabama, and all them guys get. You get your school paid for, you get a tuition. You get your room and board, your tuition paid for, your meals paid for, and a little extra, to provide for your living, and you call it a day. And like you're not living terrible, but you ain't just for what all you put in, you can't work no job. You ain't got no time for working a job or nothing. Like you're a full-time student athlete, which is a job. And so to be able to get money based off how you play, like how you carry yourself, and they say like, yeah, you don't get paid to play, but it helps, the better athlete you are and everything, the better stats you putting up, it helps the better opportunities with connecting with other people. So I definitely feel like it's really beneficial for student athletes that don't have the opportunity to get those extra funding that they need, because even walk-ons, now they're able to get money based off NIL deals whenever they probably wasn't able to because they were walk-ons, So it's really a cool process to see.
All right. Now, we already talked about the NIL deals, and I'm with you on that. I think the student athletes should get a little something, especially if they're carrying themselves well and doing everything that's asked of them. Same thing like we talked about in the recruiting. Now, let's get into some things football players may not know, true or false. My question to you, here we go now. Are high school, college, and NFL yard lines the same?
Yard lines?
Yard lines.
Yes, the hashes are not.
All right. So you're taking my questions away from me.
I had to process of elimination. I had to make sure I was on the right thing.
And you are correct. The yard lines are the same. 5 yards is 5 yards, 10 yards is 10 yards. Our high school, college, and NFL yard marks the same. And you already answered that. They are not. They are not the same. My last question to you is, are high school, college, and NFL footballs the same?
No.
What's different about them?
The NFL ball don't have the white stripe on it at the tips of the ball, and it's also like water.
And they weigh a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right. Now, let me ask you this in case you didn't know. Why do the college football, because it started way back. Do I have the year? I forget what year it was, but why do college footballs have the stripes on them and the pro balls don't have the stripes on them?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, I think it was back in 19-something. I thought I had that date down, but I don't. Well, NFL wanted to have their own brand, so they didn't want to have the stripes on them. The reason why they on the college football is because back then they didn't have good lighting. So with having that white stripe on it, it kind of helped the athletes see the ball. I hate that I don't have the year, but I thought I had the year went down. But you got majority of them right, man. And when we get done with this show, Jaelin has his own music list that will be featured on our podcast radio station, which is Stationhead. You'll have to download the Stationhead app and follow NationalScouting. We was talking about this earlier, and he was laughing because some of these artists I ain't have a clue about. And one of them is it FCG Heen?
Yeah, FCG Heen.
Now, is he a R&B artist, a rapper, what?
Yeah, rapper.
Okay. The next one is Rob Wave. I know about Rod Wave. Lil Baby, I know about Lil Baby, and I'm getting to know a little about No Cap. Now, are these artists that you listen to when you traveling, working out, pregame workout, or what?
Yeah, that's the thing. I like to listen to artists that I can listen to every day, all day, no matter what I'm doing and what mood I'm in. And they all have versatile music to me. FCG Him is definitely like a motivated rapper. Things that I could relate to. Rod Wave, motivational rapper. Some people say it's like sad boy music, but like it's not, depending on what type of person you are. Lil Baby got all different type of, things. Some slow, a lot of stuff fast. And then No Cap, he's more of a lyrical rapper to me. He ain't like on no J. Cole or no Kendrick Lamar type thing. But like if you listen to some of his music, some of his stuff, like you listen to the lyric, you're like, dang, it's kind of tough.
Okay. Well, with that being said, man, we're at the end of our show, and I'm going to give you the screen. And if you want to give your shouts out to whoever you'd like to give your shouts out to at this time, I'm going to let you have the floor.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. I appreciate this opportunity to be on this podcast, this interview and everything. And of course, special shout out to all my family, friends, and loved ones out there. Thank y'all.
All right. Well, Jaelin, before I let you go, man, I got 2 questions for you. First off, number 1, what does your hat say? Are you marketing somebody or what? What you got on?
Yeah, God bless whoever hates on me. I've been seeing it on, and then I also got the Houston Astros on one, and then the Houston Rockets on the other side.
All right.
I've seen it on social media, say about maybe close to a year now, and Jalen Hurts, I seen him wear it on a press conference interview, and I was like, dang, like I already had seen it, I wanted it and everything, and then he kind of made it blow up a little bit more. And then, but actually, Anaya, I'm sure she probably watching it. She ordered it for me for a Christmas present and got it from me. I told her how much I wanted it, and she got it. So shout out to Anaya. Probably one of the better Christmas gifts I had this year.
All right. Now, when Jalen Hurst was wearing it, because we know he's from Houston, Texas, was it that same particular hat with the Houston Astros?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one he got.
Oh,
I just remember that he had this, and then it blew up, and then like the brand kind of took off. They got like hats, shirts, hoodies, all kind of stuff.
Hey, man, you need to reach out to them, let them know that you just marketed NIL deals, man. We need them. We need them.
Yeah, for
Isaac,
real.
great interview to the both of us. I really appreciate that, bro, man. I love you, and you take
Thank
care.
you.
Last question, Jaeiln. I got to put you on the hot seat before I let you go, and we get into this my closing with the platforms people can listen to this too, as well as the outro video. You scored a game-winning touchdown. You on ESPN, which you was on once before, well, twice before. Who you give the shout out to? Do you get a shout out? Do you say, hey, mom, or hey, dad? And you can't say both. I got to take that out of there. So who do you give a shout out to?
See, I think the best way I do that is just say shout out to my family or shout out to my loved ones. Shout out to my loved ones, and everybody take it how they want, and we keep it rolling. Because then they can't say I did shout them out. I'm like, you my loved one.
Oh man, see, hey, this is why this guy have his degree and working on the master. See what I'm saying? I'm at know what the next time I ask a student athlete that, I'm gonna take all them scenarios out. They gonna have to be in trouble when they get off this show. You gonna say to my lover that was a good one, man. But hey, I really appreciate you being on the show, my brother. Hopefully we can get you on the show again when you getting done with college, and hopefully you be blessed to say, hey, I'm getting ready to work out. I enter my name into the draft, and we can get you back on the show to see how that process is going. I know your family is proud of you. I know your coaches, both of your schools are proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Continue to keep going first, and everything will work itself out, man. And it was an honor having you on the show, and it's kind of crazy, man. We already have family ties because we know some of the same people, which are your family, which I consider my family, man. So keep working hard. God bless to you. Don't go nowhere. I'm going to take you off the screen. I'm going to give a shout out to our sponsors, as well as let people know where they can find us at and listen to this show. And like I told you once before, we'll play your music at the end of the show. I'll get them links to you for YouTube and on Spotify that you can share with your family as friends as well, or they can go on one of those platforms and listen to it themselves, man. Take care. Continue to work hard, man. And one of these days, me, you, and Scooter will have to line up, and we're going to have to see who the fastest. I never was able to beat him. I probably can't beat him now. And I know dang on well we can't touch you, but hopefully I can get a win by beating him. But I appreciate you, brother, man. And hey, continue to do the things that you're doing and stay blessed.
Thank you.
Well, that was a great interview with Mr. Jaeiln Benefield. I'm glad we had him on our show tonight. And you can listen to this show on YouTube at National Scouting Service when we get it uploaded. It'll also be on Facebook. You can go back and listen to it on Facebook if you are a person that be on Facebook or have a Facebook page. Stationhead, download the Stationhead app, and you can follow, listen to, go back to listen to previous shows, as well as listen to music on this platform. You can call us on this platform if you want to call into the show as well. And we're also on Spotify under National Scouting Service. And this interview will be up by tomorrow of this interview. So you don't want to miss that. You'll always be able to go back and listen to and tune in to that as well. With that being said, we're about to get out of here. Here's our outro. And again, thank you for having Jaeiln on our show. Thanks for those who tuned in. It was a great interview. I look forward to a lot of great and big things coming from this young man. He got God first and family behind him. And with something like that, you cannot lose. I am Coach O, and this is the National Scouting Service Podcast Show.